Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. It's a holiday week. Right in the middle of this week, we got 4th of July. I have I probably shouldn't say this because I know it's Florida is where I live, but I, like most people in my area, snuck over to Alabama with their big fireworks store, and I got some stuff to blow up. It's going to be fun. So grilling out some stuff, may have 1 or 10 cocktails, and then we're going to blow stuff up. That sounds like a good Southern 4th of July. So hopefully you get out. If you don't have stuff to blow up on your own, downtown's got a great show. I know out of the Wharf they got a good show. I know Pensacola Beach has got a good show. So there's lots of things you can do if you're out here for the holiday weekend. But we're not going to talk about blowing stuff up or seeing all the fireworks or celebrating America. We're going to talk about real estate. Let's go. I'm a man on a mission. My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and don't need no permission. I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth? All right, so I always try and put in context what I'm talking about. So we'll go down to my screen real quick, and I want to make sure that I just put this baseline out there. If we have between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, it's considered a neutral market. If you have less than 6 months worth of inventory, it's considered a seller's market. Greater than 7 months is considered a buyer's market. I always saw this slide too. It says home prices will depreciate if you have a buyer's market. I don't know about depreciation in our area. We kind of got a little bit of a bubble, but we are seeing some of the higher ends come down a little bit. So this is actually really true, but I wanted to do this as a baseline for every one of them. And also, as I'm switching slides here, I wanted to tell you that under 3 months worth of inventory is called a hyper seller's market. Hyper sellers, you really can push the envelope if you have under 3 months worth of inventory. If it's worth 200 and we got 2.2 months worth of inventory, I may list it at 220. I may list it at 225. I can't push it real hard. All right, 10% is usually about it, so that 220 is probably it. But you can push a little bit. Now it may come down. You may get an offer that's not full list price, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They may want wow, I don't know what that was. They may want concessions. It's cool. But if we thought it was 200 and we sell it for 215 and they get $6,000 worth of concessions, last I checked, you still made $9,000, which, oh, by the way, were the exact numbers I did for a customer who had his house listed for sale by owner for 200,000. He got 209. I'll let that sink in for a second. All right, we're going to go back down to the screen. So where are we, Shane? Where are the different price points? Because both counties have both. They both have a seller's market and a buyer's market. So let's see where we're at. In Santa Rosa County, under 300,000 is considered a hyper seller's market. Hyper seller's market. There's only 2 properties under $50,000. So if you call me asking for $50,000 in Santa Rosa County, there's not much. If you've got something you're considering, let me know, because that may be one. Hey, if it's worth 40, let's ask 50 or 60. Because you may be able to push even harder at that price point. But anything under 300,000, a hyper seller's market, and I find it funny in Santa Rosa County at 350 to 400 dumps back down to a hyper seller's market. 300 to 350, you've just got a little bit more inventory there. But when I looked at those numbers, like what's behind the numbers, I saw a lot of new construction. So I wonder if that's not what's making this not a hyper seller's market, but just a seller's market. Because I bet you that I know there's a lot of new construction there. And people can't buy the new construction yet, or the builders will actually leave a listing up being the model. And so they may sell 3 or 4 of them, but not list those addresses. This one address may be listed as active and stay active for 6 months. And they just go, oh, yes, we have that floor plan. So we're seeing a lot of that in Santa Rosa County as well. So pretty much, if I were to guess, anything under 400,000 is a resale that has the house built and ready to move in, is a hyper seller's market, and you can push a little right now. Or in July, I know August changes stuff some. So if you've got something in that area or in that price point, give me a call. If you're considering anything over the next 12 months, I don't care if we're talking about next summer, give me a call. Let's chat about it, or send me a comment on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. All right. Between 450 and 500, still a seller's market. So anything literally under $500,000 in Santa Rosa County, seller's market. Seller's market. Once you get over $500,000 though, it starts to switch neutral to a buyer's market. It is a buyer's market. That it's not quite neutral there. These are for some reason yellow. I don't know why, because I know that 8 months is definitely, or 8.8 is definitely a buyer's market. But they coated them yellow this week. That's a buyer's market. It's not a strong buyer's market. You can't make ridiculous offers. I think I told you a few weeks back we had I had a property that was listed at $500,000 in Escambia. I was in Escambia County. These numbers are for Santa Rosa, but we got an offer at like $410,000. Now I know it's a buyer's market, but not $90,000 worth. So I talked to the other agent and was like, you need to kind of educate your people a little. And he said, I know, but this is what they wanted to write, so I'm kind of obligated to write it. And we have a difference of opinion there. But yeah, it's not crazy. But could you get maybe a $500,000 for $478,000 or $480,000? Yeah, probably, because there is some negotiating room there. 650 to 700 is over 2 years worth of inventory in Santa Rosa County. Now you can be real aggressive, and not crazy like that. $90,000 is nuts. Could a 650 property maybe sell for 600 though? Yeah. Would that be a bad offer to start? No, not at all. Because there's 2 years worth of inventory. Now don't get that confused with how many properties there are, because if you look here, these are the number of actives. There's only 13. There's just not much of an appetite for that price point. And over 700,000 and back down to almost a neutral market. It's 7.4, so it skews slightly to a buyer's market, but almost a neutral market. So some of the stuff at the beach and everything else. All right, let's switch over, shall we, to Escambia County and see how things are going on this 4th of July week. Okay, so here, under 200,000 is a hyper seller's market. So if you remember Santa Rosa County under 300,000, and we really took it all the way up to 400,000 because of that one little blip. But in Escambia County, it's pretty much under 200,000 is a hyper seller's market. You can push the envelope. I had a couple of listings come in between that 100 and 200 range. So these two ranges, and I pushed them. I had one property that when I looked at it, I said, hey, it's probably worth about 130. We listed at 150. I got a full price offer. Appraisal didn't have a problem. We closed at 150. It was worth 130. I did the comps. But when you do an appraisal, one of the first things you have to do as an appraiser is go, what is a willing buyer willing to pay for this? And what is a willing seller willing to sell it for? You can't do that for a refinance. That aspect of it is out. But for the purchase, it is. That's in. So these, as sellers, you can push. As buyers, be prepared to go full price, real close to it, or maybe even over. I got quite a few contracts right now that are over list price. So because this price is it's booming. Again, 1.5 months worth of inventory in Escambia County between 150 and 200, but 150 properties active, 149. Because I know somebody will call me out. And I didn't say 150, it said 149. But we've got 175 pending. So that means the appetite between 150 and 200 is just strong. And usually properties don't last that long as they're ready. I've seen some listings going, why is this even active on the market? It's just going to sit. Anyways, between 200 and looks like 450, still a seller's market. I would take that 400 and 450 and probably put that in neutral because that's real close to 6. So let's say between 200 and 400, seller's market. You can still be a little aggressive, but you need to start differentiating. You need to make things nice. You need to do the things that you normally would do to sell a property at the highest value. Some of these price points here, you don't have to do as much because there's just such an appetite as long as it's presentable. There's some properties I'm like, I don't understand why they're on the market. 450 to 500. Well, we'll just say, 450 to 500. We're going to call that a neutral market. Nope, I'm going to take that back. 4 to 450. We're going to call that a neutral market. 450 to 500, buyer's market. You can be aggressive at that 500, 450 to 500 mark. Not like crazy aggressive, like my other story, but you can be aggressive there. And I would probably say that's from 450 to 600. Although the 5 to 550 right now is showing exactly 6 months worth of inventory. So that would be the classic neutral market. Sellers need to negotiate, buyers need to negotiate, seller needs to differentiate, buyers need to be prepared. That's also the jumbo areas. 600 to 650, 600 plus. Looks like we've got hyper buyer's market. If you're buying in that market, there's not as much of an appetite. The inventory is low because you got 15 properties, 13 properties, And then this says 700,000 plus. You got 94. That's probably the condos out at Pensacola Beach or Perdido Key or up and down Scenic, some of the $1 million plus, because you got 94 properties, but you still only got 17, about a year and a half worth of inventory there, because the appetite still is somewhat there. But anyways, there's the numbers. There's the absolute numbers for both counties. I hope you enjoy your 4th of July weekend. I know we will. If you are considering anything in real estate over the next 12 months, if you're doing anything from 4th of July to 4th of July, if you're considering something the holidays, you're considering something first of the year, give me a call. Even if you're just kicking it around, let's chat. Let's talk about it. I'll give you the options. It doesn't cost anything to talk to me. I'll give you the options. We'll figure out if this is right for you or it's not. I have had multiple conversations the last few weeks where I'm like, that's not right for you. What you're trying to accomplish, that doesn't make any sense. You've got good equity here. Why don't we just talk to a lender and refinance you? Why don't we just do a refinance? Because that would make a lot more sense. Let's get some cash out of the equity and move on. You don't need to move up, move down. And my wife will be the first one to tell you that moving is about, I think she puts that like up there close to public speaking and death. Like the stress levels is really, really high. So if you can avoid that, cool. But if you're considering, hey, look, this house is just too big, or this house is just too small, we're busting at the seams. Okay, well then that means a move, and either or could mean becoming a landlord as a rental property on the current property, or selling it, or there's all kinds of options. Like I said, if you're considering anything, just give me a shout. Shoot a message inside of Facebook, inside of YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you're seeing this. Shoot me a message. We'll catch back up. Hope you have a great holiday. Hope this was just some data that would be able to help you and yours make your own decisions. Have a great week. I'm a man on a mission. My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and don't need no permission. I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?